This is why we have you. You are Japanese correspondent, our esteemed Japanese correspondent, live in the field.
Welcome to Geeks and Gaijins. I'm the Gaijin John.
I'm the Geek Tom.
And welcome to... I just said Geeks and Gaijins again. Multiple times. Hello, welcome.
It's good for branding. Keep saying it. Geeks and Gaijins at geeksandgaijins.com.
Indeed.
We don't have that domain yet.
We don't have that domain yet. If you're listening in a couple of years and this has gone well, maybe.
I respect your ambitions and your optimism, John.
Yeah, maybe decades. Let's go for decades then. Back in my day, there was a country called Japan.
It's been swallowed by the ocean now.
And those polar bears, they're the only ones who live there. Our polar bear overlords.
Grandpa John, what's a polar bear? Don't listen to him, dear.
We don't dare go outside.
Oh dear, he's remembering the polar bears again. Children, come inside.
There is no inside. Yes, welcome to my failing psyche as I live in Japan and Thomas doesn't.
Honestly, despite having not stayed inside for nearly as long, I think Japan's treatment of the whole situation has probably done more damage to John's psyche than my own country's, which is saying something.
To be honest, I was always like this. Listen to past podcasts for details.
On with the show.
So, today's show, we have Buttons, Arthur, and entertainment.
Yes, that is exactly the contents we need, because I know exactly what I'm in for now.
Our main story today is I bought a PS4, so we're going to talk a little bit about one of the weirdest cultural differences I found since getting here, and that is buttons.
Yes, this is where we draw the line with Japanese culture. This is where they go too far, is buttons on a PS4 controller.
Indeed. Just wait for the next minute and then you'll find out. Then after that, we have the snack break, as usual, in which I taste something Japanese in inverted commas.
Our only semi-consistent section.
It means I buy random stuff from the convenience store, so...
It's a segment I thoroughly endorse, regardless.
It's where I go, oh, what's that? Well, I may as well buy it for the podcast.
The dream is one day we can do snack break and put it off as a business expense.
Yeah. Dream. Then I won't have to spend... What did I spend on this week's snack break? Yeah, a whole 70 yen. I think 70, 80 yen.
Only the finest cultural delicacies for our Japanese correspondent.
Yeah, that's about 80 cents for our US listeners. Not even a full dollar. Not even a full dollar. And then after that, because entertainment news has been on the down low, I thought I would throw Japanese entertainment news at you.
Yes, I can't wait to see exactly what peculiarities have emerged in the recent weeks, if any at all, because I know there's not much going on over here right now.
It's not. Some are cute, some I want, and some I'm just slightly confused by. So, moving on.
I think that's a good general audience to go for our podcast. I think that fits our niche perfectly.
Yeah, that niche that totally exists. PS4 buttons.
Oh yes, riveting. Let's go.
I will put you in the scene, listeners. Thomas, use my voice to create images. I bought a used PlayStation 4 off a large tropical rainforest. It arrived, to which I turned it on, and to which, surprisingly, everything was in Japanese.
How dare they?
I know, hold your horses. I'm sitting there, I have my cup of tea, because I'm British and it is mandatory, or we will be ripped apart by corgis. And so I went to go turn on the PlayStation 4, and I turned it on. I already knew it was all in Japanese, so of course I'd turned it on before. And I then pressed, as you do, Thomas, the X button.
Yes.
The X button is the confirmation button. As we have been taught by many games. So many games, all stuff.
All those game manuals I read as a child with my PlayStation 2, which don't exist anymore. So that's actually a fairly dated reference now. Oh, God.
Press X to jump. Or, I think this is going to be better, press the action button to jump. Because in Japan, X is not confirm. The X button, for those who don't know, the iconic PlayStation square, triangle, circle, X. In Japan, the circle button is the confirm button, and the X is the back button.
Heresy! Heresy, I say!
Yeah. Which sounds really small, but is one of the most unnatural things to feel. Is like just be there holding control is like, why does it keep booting me back to the start screen?
I mean, you're literally reversing yes and no on your controller there. It's not simple.
But the more you think about it, the more it makes sense, because it's a cross. It means no.
Yes.
Go back.
This is what young Thomas thought when he first started using a controller of like, why do I use this button? That's not what that's supposed to mean.
Circle, which is like, okay, yeah. It's also in Japan, we've talked about marking before, where X is cross, no, and circle is, yeah, you did a good mark. You don't use check marks here. The X mark is more in the middle, and there can be an entire history of why is those the buttons that we use, basically, the main reason that we in the West use the center button seems to be because it's the easiest for like where your thumbs are to press, and also that's what the Xbox made their main enter button as well. And also the X itself seemed to be a bit more like a target for some Western developers talked about. Whereas circle is like, oh, back off, ooh, it's empty. But it was, yes, it's very weird, because also if you have played some, well, I want to say very old, back in the old days of 1998, especially old Japanese games on the PlayStation still had this, even when they were sent to the West. One of the most iconic series is the Metal Gear Solid series. That's why you need that very strange, complicated mess of buttons to even shoot anything in, I think, the first 3 Metal Gear Solids. Because it's relying on the Japanese person's use of X and the circle, which isn't, so that's why, fun fact, why when you wanted to always play Metal Gear Solid when you were 10 years old, you're like, what is going on? Question. Why does my hand have to be in such a strange place, Mama, to fire the bullets in the game?
The PS2 era was a godless set time period for controlling in general. No one had it. There was not much of a unified control scheme going on.
No, there really wasn't. But thinking of this, I actually did look a bit up about the original maker, because, surprise, surprise, he's Japanese.
No.
Yeah, the creator of the PlayStation, well, the design of the PlayStation is Japanese.
They're everywhere. How did this happen?
Anyway, his name is Teyu Goto, or Goto Teyu. He's originally from Kyoto, and he worked for Sony for years before being asked to design the original PlayStation 1. Because before that, Sony had done no design or video game stuff whatsoever. And so he was like, oh, yeah, cool. And everyone was like, oh, the main console, that's fine. The original PlayStation with like grey box with like that circle in the middle. So it's like a big CD player. Yeah, cool. One of the first consoles to use CDs. Yeah, why not? However, when they got to the controller, there's a lot of shenanigans. And I will link this in the description. I found a great article where he talked about it shows so much about Japanese politics. The biggest issue was not the square, triangle, circle, X. It was making the controller actually have those 3D grips. Because before this, they wanted them to be like the original Nintendo, like flat controllers. But they also wanted the second set of shoulder buttons as well.
Just been a brick.
Yeah.
That would have been very uncomfortable to hold for extended periods of time. You'd have the corners digging into your palms there.
I mean, did you ever play using a GameCube controller?
No.
Those are godless things. However, well, basically, it's all the article details loads of things about Japanese business practice of like the main executive going, yeah, I think that's a good idea, and the designer going, yeah, that's a good idea, but all the middle management in between going, well, the graph says. So Teruo Goto, when he went about coming up with these things, because before this, it's generally Nintendo and Sega were the main ones doing it, and they were using A and B, or 1 and 2. And
yeah, they had 2 buttons rather than 4 at the time.
And A in the Nintendo one, A and B was to the furthest right and B was to the bottom, which also makes sense with the circle as well, because even on the Switch right now, your A and B in X and Y, A is go ahead, and that's where the circle button would usually be on a PlayStation controller. But basically, with the Xbox coming out, they made their A the bottom one, and so that's what it really became in the West, bar for Nintendo products.
Everyone decided that the X button had to be on a different point of the controller for no reason.
I think it was just more to do with it's very central, so it's easier to press. Whereas most of Nintendo's stuff, like, generally they've been quite small. The thing about actually being small hands, I will get back to the main point in a moment about Goto creating this iconic set of designs. Apparently,
it's important. Small hands first.
Yes, because I don't know if this is still true. I want it to be true. But the North American model of the original PlayStation controller is roughly 10% larger than the Japanese model. And that's to account for the fact the average person in North America has significantly larger hands than the average Japanese person.
I respect that.
I just have an image of like Japanese factory workers, like with these huge PlayStation controllers coming through, being like, these are for the giants in America.
I mean, that's smart. If only Nintendo could pick up on that for the Switch controllers, and they might actually be able to hold them for more than 20 minutes at a time.
Well, this is the thing. I don't actually care because I have tiny, tiny Japan hands.
You're well suited for this. This is why we sent you, and no other reason.
Yes.
Your small hands.
Small hands. I can do things that other gaijins cannot. Yes, but speaking of buttons, Teruo Goto said in this article he came up with the triangle, circle, X, square combination basically from looking at symbols and going, yeah, those are good symbols, and I want to give each one a meaning and a color. So apparently do you want to guess, Thomas, what like the different icons represent?
Oh, I read this part of the article. I'm not guessing.
Damn it.
Well,
do you remember? What did triangle mean?
Triangle was all about view and perspective.
Yes, which
I don't remember how that's relevant anymore, but
it
must have been important at the time.
And for some reason it's green. Though I remember a lot of games used to have triangle be the map button, so maybe that's relevant.
That might be it.
And then there doesn't seem to be a lot of meaning behind the color. Then square was meant to look like a piece of paper. So like menus or documents, which I think, to be honest, is pretty accurate up until the late 2000s. I remember, I think it was Oblivion. It was one of the Elder Scrolls games. Square was like the inventory button. And so menus or documents, and he made it pink for some reason. And the circle and X represent yes or no decision making, but he made them red and blue. So circle, though it's usually yes, was red.
And the cross, which is no, is blue. And those seem to our foreigner eyes to be contradictory color mappings.
It seems they were, because you said you'd read this part of the article, yeah?
I just got to it, yeah.
Yeah, because people thought those colors were mixed up, like the people with him, and he was like, no! He had to say, this is what I want. Why? I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to get sued by the Red Cross.
It's the wrong type of cross. It's not even, that's a red plus more than anything. Oh dear.
But no, I thought it would also be fun. There is the Japanese names for these things.
Ooh.
Circle is maru, which literally means circle. But that's also what you call like a correct answer on a test. Maru, maru, maru. And a cross is a batsu.
You can tell it's bad. It just has those hard sounds.
Batsu. No, wrong. Batsu, batsu, batsu,
Sharp and
batsu.
nasty.
Yeah. Like the old Nintendo controller.
Oh! We're going to have someone writing an angry comment for once. This one. We're going for them.
Just please, someone write a comment.
Although, to be fair, we didn't get anyone from Animal Crossing fandom complaining about our time-traveling shenanigans, so I think we're safe.
Yay, safe. And you know what's a great thing to do when you're safe, Thomas?
Yeah, let's segue out of it quickly before people realize that we have nothing of substance to add. Let's move on. Go, quick.
No, not this.
The illusion is fading, John.
No! Anyway, Thomas, I'd like you to meet my friend, Arthur.
Arthur looks fantastic.
Yeah, I found these in the store when I was buying my weekly grocery shop.
As one does.
I found always on the Instagram, the Gaijin John, when I remember to upload them, which I don't. But these are a set of sandwich biscuits or cookies, as our American listeners might like to call them, called Arthur.
That's very interesting. I mean, I know that the Japanese do have a fondness for the name Arthur, but I didn't expect to see it on a pair of biscuits.
Yes, so this goes even deeper. Because... So the name Arthur is used a lot, and there's... I cannot find a reason why they're not called like Arthur something or Arthur's biscuits. They are just the name Arthur, spelled in English, with no Japanese on the main packet. And up it says chocolate, so I know that I have chocolate Arthur. Vanilla Arthur was available.
Ooh.
And they are by the company called Arlu. And they say under that it takes care of you, which is what I want from my Arthur. And they seem to be fairly standard, like chocolate sandwich biscuits with they've got a little crown on it, obviously for maybe King Arthur.
I think that's what they're going for.
Yeah, but this illusion is in nowhere else mentioned. I did try to research this. I found there is apparently a King Arthur flour production in Massachusetts from like 200 years ago that apparently used to import British flour. I was productive today at work.
Yes, I'm very glad I have this information that I don't know what to do with it. I have no idea.
Well, that's the idea. They were called King Arthur flour because they import. And so looking up King Arthur biscuits or King Arthur cookies comes from use our flour to make only the best cookies. All right, whatever you say. It's flour.
It seems odd that there's no actual information on the Arthur biscuits, but oh well.
Because I found Arlu. I found their website. Because also on the outside of it, we have 3 statements in 3 different languages.
Oh boy.
So first we have English. Chocolate cream flavored filled biscuits.
Solid.
All right. Got it. They even use the word biscuit. Loving it.
Yeah.
After that, we have it in Spanish. Galeta, I apologize to everyone. I'm sorry, Senorita Bambrick, I apologize. Galetas de Helenas con crema de chocolate. Yeah, that was some... God knows. Yeah, so they have it in Spanish. And then after that, I apologize to all my French teachers as well. Biscuit foie avec crème de chocolat. So these Japanese Arthur biscuits have English, Spanish, and French. The plot thickens.
The plot does indeed thicken. Where is this leading me? How far does the rabbit hole go?
Because these aren't a direct import. These were made for Japan because all the ingredient list is in Japanese.
Okay.
You do have an ingredients list in English and Spanish and French, but you do have a Japanese section. And turning it over gave me the clue, gave me the key thing, to which it said, made in Spain.
Wait, what?
So here in Japan, I have these Arthur biscuits that were probably less than $1 that are made in Spain to then perhaps be sold in France and Japan by a Spanish company. Just on, like, this is not like a special export store, just on my average, like, on my average supermarket haul. I'm just like, okay. And I looked up their website. They're based in Spain. They are part of the National Biscuit Corporation or Association.
Very nice.
I think they're based in Almeria or somewhere in southern Spain. And I'm just
what are they doing there?
I assume making chocolate biscuits, but
no, I mean, why are there chocolate biscuits in Japan? That's a long way to go.
And why are they called Arthur? This is the reason I bought them. They're just biscuits called Arthur. And I thought, oh, this is some stupid Japanese thing. Oh, they've just named the biscuits Arthur because they want something Western on there. But no, it's so much more.
How have I become so invested in the mystery surrounding a chocolate biscuit? What the hell?
The saga of Arthur. Because there's no more, unless someone knows Spanish and can look over their YouTube channel. Because their website is in English, but all their YouTube stuff is in Spanish. And yeah, my Japanese has gone badly enough and my Spanish can be proven is so darn bad. Anyway, what does the biscuit itself taste like? I feel like it's not even worth eating these now because I feel like they'll not live up to the legend. Thomas, you with me?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find out information about Ali on my own now whilst you eat the biscuit.
Don't go down that rabbit hole. You won't come back. I was forced to by small Japanese teenagers. There's not that kind of support network. You don't have that kind of support network with you, so I can't. No. I don't want to be responsible for this.
Why are these not sold in the UK, as far as I can tell? That seems odd. Okay.
Their first language on them is in English, and the ingredient list is also in English. And I assume it's trying to sell off the knowledge of a King Arthur, which depends how you historically define British, but King of the Britons.
Yes, I definitely knew this because I definitely studied this period of history at some point. I definitely wasn't told to study the Tudors for 5 years straight instead.
Okay, so now the Arthur biscuit. Itadakimasu.
Bon appetit, whatever the Spanish say for have a good meal.
Indeed. Cheers.
Hey. So how much sugar did they put in that stuff?
Well, my diabetes is telling me. I might be arrested when I return to the UK for tyranny is not the right word, for traitorism. Traitorism?
Treason.
That's the word.
Yay!
However, I will say that the chocolate part of these chocolate cream-filled biscuits is not the best part of them. Because they're fine. They're fine. Do you know what they are good as?
Goodness me, there's only one other component of these chocolate-filled biscuits, and if it's not the chocolate, it must therefore be...
The biscuits are, like, the only rich tea biscuits I've been able to eat in Japan. I've been missing rich tea biscuits so much.
I think your standards might have dropped a bit.
Well, to be honest, I always loved really rubbish rich tea biscuits. I loved, like, Sainsbury's or Tesco's own rich tea biscuits.
I mean, they have their purpose.
Those are great rich tea biscuits. There's some chocolate filling, but
That's secondary. He's getting homesick now because he's having rich tea biscuits for the first time in months.
no, I can actually buy these just because you can't just buy rich tea biscuits. This is Japan, and there are a bunch of American people listening going, "What is a rich tea biscuit? Is it a biscuit made of tea? Is it
it's
filled with money?"
Whose only function is to be put into tea
Yes.
because it's not a proper snack. It's a dunking mechanism, and that's
It is the dunking. And these would make perfect dunkers. So there you are. If you're in Japan and you're homesick for rich tea biscuits, Arthur has your back.
Good old boy, Arthur.
Because I said, hey, it's a wonderful kind of day to learn to work and play. Say it with me. Along with each other. Had to be done.
It had to be done. And I believe we had one more section for this week, John.
One more section. The section of... Thomas didn't do any research this week, so I have to throw topics at him. Behind the curtain of podcast production. I did actually prepare for this, he says, tripping over his words.
Yes.
Japan has some quite unique entertainment, world, and therefore some quite unique entertainment news. So I thought I would tell Thomas about, and to an extension, all you lovely people, some of the big Japan entertainment news. Some of it that I'm just interested in, some of it that you might want to know at home, and some of it that's just like, you will ask, why did I need to know this? Who is this? And why are you doing it?
I think, why did I need to know this is the tagline for the podcast, so...
Well, first of all, the thing that I'm happy about, starting off, and no one else will be, is Disney Plus is finally coming to Japan. Ah!
Might be a little late at this point.
Yeah, I've already been spoiled by 60,000 things of The Mandalorian. And I'm just like, no, Disney Plus is coming to Japan in June. And yeah. Yes, I have a VPN, but trying to get it to work in multiple countries. I just wanted Japanese Disney Plus. I just want to sit and watch Disney movies and Star Wars stuff. And now Japan can. For a whole 780 yen a month. Which actually isn't that bad.
Other streaming services are available.
Yes, but aren't coming to Japan in June, which is the whole point of this article, Thomas.
All right, then.
Are you in any way happy about this, or anyway, have you jumped upon the Disney Plus train?
Are you asking me if I'm invested in Disney Plus coming to a country I do not currently reside in?
Are you invested in Disney Plus?
I have not put forward any time or money towards Disney Plus as of time of recording. Whether that remains to be true throughout the rest of my life is yet to be seen, but at the moment I'm not biting.
Well, there we are. That is Disney Plus, everyone. I'm sure you're glad you know it is coming to your very, very lonely British man. You might have seen this because this actually got all the way to the BBC News front page.
Goodness.
This is a really adorable video by a producer from Studio Ghibli, or as they say in Japan, Ghibli. This is Toshio Suzuki, former president of Studio Ghibli, who did a nice online thing for kids who were stuck at home because of the virus and showed them how to draw Totoro from My Neighbor Totoro.
Aw, how nice.
He's just a lovely guy, and he's just like saying, how's everyone? I'm going to teach you how to draw Totoro.
Oh, and he's using like a proper ink.
Yeah, calligraphy brush.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you for correcting me.
You can just use pencils and paper. It does become a little bit, as someone who did try to do this, draw a circle, then draw the rest of the owl.
That's a fairly basic outline. I get that.
He does say that, so Totoro is supposed to resemble something between a cat, an owl, and a raccoon.
Yes.
And he says the most important element is the eyes.
Always.
And his rounded eyes to be set far apart.
Ah, it's a Totoro.
Yeah, it's really cute. And so if you haven't seen this, look it up. It's just how to draw a Totoro. It's in
looks very
Japanese.
professional for very quickly done. Oh man, I do like how calligraphy brush work looks.
It's great. And as someone with no artistic ability at all, I went to the calligraphy room for the first time in my high school ever.
Goodness.
Everyone there was really cool and really good at stuff, and
You didn't feel welcome.
I dropped art when I was 13. To put this into context, the last time I did art was when I was like 4 years younger than these students. Yeah, they did so good. That is Ghibli. And by the way, also more announcements. Generally, we are still 3 years away from the last Hayao Miyazaki film, which he will say until he makes the next one after that.
The man's prolific.
Yes, but he keeps on saying, this is my last one before retirement. Guess what? Retirement's boring. I'm gonna make another film.
He cannot be stopped.
He really cannot be. And then, very quickly, one of my favorite Japanese authors, Haruki Murakami, will be doing a radio broadcast for those staying at home on 38 nationwide stations. He's the guy who wrote Norwegian Wood and Kafka on the Shore, and generally one of the greatest Japanese modern fiction writers of our time. I love him so much.
Do you know what the contents of the broadcast will be about?
It's just he will play favourite songs and welcome listener comments during a stay-at-home special.
Oh, okay. Just a special guest star radio broadcast then.
From his writing, a lot of it involves his love of jazz. So especially, apparently he and his wife Yoko opened a jazz club while still university students and then ran it for 7 years.
Nice.
So yeah, a lot of his writing can uses music and also Western themes a lot. It's one of the weirdest, but also some of the most interesting fiction writing. If you're looking for something to read, Haruki Murakami.
Looking forward to seeing that get all funky whenever that broadcast was.
Yeah, that broadcast is on the 22nd of May. So I think it's the Friday after this podcast comes out. And I'm sure it is available. Well, it might not be available on demand because Japan, but it happens 10 p.m. Japan time, so 2 p.m. UK time, and a time America time.
About the on-demand thing, I was going to comment how surprised I was that Studio Ghibli were actually able to release something on the internet for children.
Hey! But hey, no, they're on Netflix now, and you can watch them all.
They're learning.
Yay. Oh, God, they're learning. And then finally, NHK, which we will do an entire episode on the NHK, because that sounds like some horrible political organization. They are the Japan version of the BBC, the NHK. However, they are most well known for their annoying people asking for your equivalent of a TV license. The NHK man is a meme in himself. However, NHK will temporarily halt the broadcast of 2 of its long-running and popular programs. I know you must be shocked.
I'm distraught. I don't know what I'll do with myself losing 2 of the NHK's 2 most popular programs that I definitely know all about and definitely watch.
One of them is a morning 15-minute drama known as Asadora. I don't know how you do a TV drama in 15 minutes. And also a period drama as well.
Ooh.
So one of them that's stopping is Kirin ga Kuru, which is the Sunday night period drama. Because, of course, on your Sunday night, you want to see 16th century samurai warlord Akechi Mitsuhide.
Hell yeah.
Whilst later, apparently, another drama is going to be suspended. This being a drama based on the life of composer Yuji Koseki and his wife. Well, to be honest, we're not much more, but let's just tell you that, inane entertainment news is present throughout the world.
It's just a global phenomenon.
Global phenomenon. Nom nom. And finally, I didn't even know about this manga character, but there we are. More delays, because This is the delayed podcast that is hopefully not delayed. The 600th installment of Golgo 13 is delayed.
Golgo 13?
Yes. So, I didn't actually know what this manga was.
I've never heard of it.
Golgo 13. It's literally, it's literally, they say it as in 13. Oh, God. Currently, the oldest manga still in publication.
Oh.
And it follows a professional assassin for hire, Golgo, who you will see in multiple memes of like old anime adaptations and things if you just Google the character Golgo, which I didn't realize because I had never heard of this character.
Same.
Yet it's like the oldest running manga in Japan.
Ah, neat. And it's finally been stopped. Well, put on hiatus.
Well, it's delayed. It's currently on its 599th volume, but you'll have to wait for its 600th because that has been delayed. I do actually want to look more into this because it seems like a really like cool like manga for something that's been running that long. This is from the article from Japan Today. Golgo, whose ruthlessness, ingenuity, and womanizing ways has earned him comparisons to James Bond and Dirty Harry. This will be the first time this series has been delayed since 1968.
Jesus Christ. That poor mangaka.
Oh my God, I just read, so it's a hard-boiled crime series. Sorry, I'm just reading more of this article. So it's hard-boiled crime set at the center of scenarios often dealing with the seedy underbelly of society, from money laundering at the Vatican to the death of Princess Diana.
Someone get the tabloids going. The Japanese have cracked it.
Yeah, so apparently Japan love Princess Diana conspiracy theories as much as the Telegraph.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked by that. I'm about as shocked by that as the Arthur biscuits.
We're just learning things today. Somehow I'd never even considered that the Japanese might have their own Downton Abbey equivalent, but here we are. We're just learning things.
Period dramas are so big here. They also love Korean dramas and lots of Korean period
they do
dramas.
have as much, if not more, history to pull from as we do.
Yeah,
and it's
but
not
they
all just rich people sitting around drinking tea. So
it is all just rich people sitting around drinking tea. Instead, it's tea ceremonies in the 17th and 16th century instead of the 19th and 20th century.
So there's more manners and it takes longer. Sweet.
Yeah, they are the original tea sippers. Boom. Downton Abbey got to learn some stuff. Yeah, no, I'm just reading more about Golgo. So hopefully join us next time when I won't just be reading about a manga that I just learned existed, which seems to be right up my alley. And I'm like, why did I not know about this before? But no, you can find us everything, Geeks and Gaijins, on Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, iTunes. Give us a review. Email us at geeksandgaijins@gmail.com. Annoy Thomas on the YouTube channel and Twitter. And we also stream on Twitch. We're on Danganronpa 2. And someone's been murdered. We might have found out who murdered them by now, but that's generally streaming on Tuesdays and Saturdays. 8 p.m. Japan time, about 12 midday UK time, and something America time.
We'll figure it out.
America, you have more than one time zones. I'm not learning it.
You're too darn big for your own good.
Exactly.
Sort it out.
And I will leave you with one last Golgo 13 fact. Apparently, it is short for Golgotha, the place of Jesus's crucifixion, with the number 13 being the unlucky number from the 13 disciples.
Goddamn.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, no. Bye-bye.